You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.
Welcome to the Everyone But Us podcast. My name, this is another fucking lockdown edition that we're doing all from the comfort of our bedrooms. We wish we could all be together, hang out, touch each other, hug each other, maybe not kiss each other, but you know how it is. You know how we're getting through with it. So again, my name's Lewis and my co-hosts,
Waymer
and Suge White.
That's the one. Right, let's just not fuck around with the introductions and make it all drawn out. These two I've known for quite a while now. I want to say definitely over 5 years, but maybe coming up to 10 years, and they are two solid people, and I'm really, really glad to have known them, and I really like their band as well. So, without further ado, I want to say welcome to Joey and Liam Splitknuckle.
Make some noise, please.
What is going on?
Cheers, having us, boys.
Welcome.
Fucking pleasure to be here.
Pleasure.
Right, just gonna we're having a relaxed time. We're just gonna take it easy. We'll get into some questions, but just want to find out everyone's doing today. Like, what's been happening in the past week or so? Like, I've got a lot. I can tell you guys what I've been up to. I've been stuck in a fucking bedroom, innit, on lockdown. I've been on self-isolation.
Like that a bit.
I know, mate. Now I know how Akon feels in that tune, mate. Trust me, mate.
Lonely, I'm so lonely.
What one? Lonely or locked up? I was thinking locked up.
That's the two sides of the same coin.
Good point.
Whilst being locked up.
I look a little bit like Akon, but thanks a lot. Like, not Akon, the actual thing that falls from the tree, right? But yeah. How you doing, Wemmer? What you been up to, mate? What you been up to?
Nothing much, man. I've still been working, so I've still been out and about. Most of my work is in central London, so it's been really weird driving.
Still quiet,
from town,
yeah.
midday,
Still quiet and shit, innit?
Yeah, it's just quiet. You can hear a pin drop, and it's kind of surreal, man. It's kind of surreal, but like you said, you just got to try and stay positive, and hopefully we'll see the end of this sooner than later.
Definitely, mate. What about you, Steve? What you been up to, mate?
Just come off night shift this morning. Feels like about 7 a.m. for me at the moment still.
Oh, fuck
me. 8
mate.
a.m. for me. So, just waking up. I'll slowly get into it.
Respect.
Yeah.
That's it, mate. Joey, what you been up to, mate?
I don't know. To be honest, my thing with this lockdown thing, like, I've done all of this stuff anyway. Like, just staying at home and not talking to anyone and just not seeing anyone. I do that shit anyway. I've been doing this shit for fucking... No, I'm joking.
Oh my God.
I know, Matt. I was trying to get hold of you the other week. Fucking didn't know where you was. Like, thought you might have been on another fucking planet. Say,
he was in the bunker.
I've been working a little bit though. I've been working down at the yard, and like, if we do work at customers' houses, then they leave the money out, or they just do bank transfers. Do you know what I mean? And we're just working the yard. Not been seeing anyone, but it's been weird.
What do you work as?
I cut down trees. I'm a tree surgeon.
oh, same.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So
Timber!
I love it. I love it.
Did you actually say that? Did you actually say timber?
No one says that. no one says that. Yeah.
What do you say then? Do you say, look, big fucking tree?
You just say, look out, you cunt.
Fucking watch out.
Fucking watch it.
Have you had any near misses?
Yeah, a few, but I don't know, not like serious.
It's all a controlled environment, innit? So you make sure everything's out of the way in that first, innit? Like,
I don't know. To be honest, like, I think I could easily do something to myself. I could easily do something to
of course, mate. Anything can happen any time. Like,
yeah, because there's just some days you wake up and you're not quite as sharp as the day before or the day after, and you know, anything could happen. Trees are different as well. It's not like there's not a uniform thing or like method. You've got to work out. Like, there's so many variables. There's like, is the tree leaning? Is there shit around the tree? What have I got to get clear of? Do you know what I mean? Like, all shit like that. So,
but you know, there's a science in that.
Yeah,
like,
there is. Yeah, I'm not.
You got well excited there, mate.
Yeah. I could talk about it for hours, mate.
Oh, we won't though, innit? Like, so anyway, Liam, what you been up to, mate?
That's a bit rude.
I'm rude. I'm just trying. I mean, we could talk about it, but I mean, podcast go for like 4 hours.
I wanted to go
out to you.
I wanted to go for about 2 hours about trees there. Fucking hell. Can't believe you stopped.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm the same. I'm not a fanatic about trains, but I do like them. So yeah, I do get you. I do.
That's one of them. Yeah, someone's got to stop me. I'm glad you did.
Excellent. All right, yeah, let's find out what Liam's been up to. Like, I'm intrigued. Like, what have you been up to, Liam? You're a key worker, mate.
Yeah, I'm class key worker, but I hadn't been working for since it started. I'd done some work and then I packed it in, and then I got offered some work by my mate. So I've been up there the past couple of days, up in London. Yeah, like central London. This fucking, like you said, it's madness. So I was there on like the Friday night. Look out the window. There's fucking usually because it's like around Shoreditch, it's packed, isn't it?
It's fucking rammed, mate. Yeah, you're right. It's rammed.
No one about. But yeah, besides that, mate, fuck off.
It was telling me the other day, like around Shoreditch kind of way, they saw some people walking around. There was like a group of people walking around, and they all started getting eggs and things thrown at them. Was that you, Lewis? Was saying about that?
No.
Yeah, I heard it. There's his story.
If that was Shoreditch,
no, I don't mean actually you, but like whoever was telling me about it. Apparently, there's this like group of people who are all like, just like, yeah, we all went to Shoreditch, and like there was only 5 of us, and then everybody started throwing eggs at Cressida.
Yeah, do you know what the thing? That was probably Spag and Sam, isn't it, Liam? That was probably Spag and Sam.
It's probably them throwing the eggs out the window.
Because that's where Liam was. Liam was at SKC HQ, which is in Shoreditch, and historically, things have been thrown off. Things have been thrown out of the window there.
I want to first start off by asking how old you, both your ages, like how old you are. It's not like the dating show or anything like that, mate. So.
ASL, mate.
ASL.
I'm 25 and I'm single, and I'm from Essex.
Do you hear that, fellas? I mean, ladies.
Yeah, no, I'm 25 as well. Yeah.
Oh, you're both 25.
I'm taken though. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you both as well. Like, so obviously we know your age and what year and that you was born in that. But where did you guys grow up? Did you grow up close to each other? Because obviously we know you're both from Essex and that. But did you grow up in the same area, or did you grow up in different areas? And what was your childhood like as well?
So I grew up in a place called Hockley. Yeah. And I used to play in metal bands when I was about 14, 15, 16. Long story short, basically, I was playing in like metal bands. Liam was playing in metal bands. We ended up like playing a few shows together or whatever. Basically, just ended up being friends. He filled in for the band, like the band that I was in at the time. Got friends with them. A place near us called Rayleigh, which is where most of our group of friends is from. At one time, pretty much everyone was from there, and then Liam was from where he's from in Thurrock, and I was from Hockley, which is just down the road from Rayleigh.
And Liam, what about you, mate? What area did you just say? Was it Thurrock?
Yeah, but I was born and lived in Basildon until I was about 11, 12.
Not Las Vegas.
Lived in a wonderful place called Craylands Estate for a lot of years, which was fucking dire, but we moved out of there. And then I moved to Thurrock, which is like near like Tilbury and Lakeside, all that way. Just off the A13, just off the A13. Moved there to a place, Coronham, just small town around there. Then ended up like getting into like heavier music, stuff like that, because before I'd never ever even heard any like metal when I was like younger. As well as growing up, all my stepdad and mum used to play like garage and stuff like that. So I've never heard any like metal or anything like that. And I started this school. I started this school and it was like a performing arts school. So there's a lot of musicians and that. And then someone showed me some grunge stuff like Pearl Jam and stuff like that. And then started learning guitar from there. Then gradually getting into like, it's like start off with sound like a bit of rock or something, you get to grunge and get into metal. Next thing you know, you listen to like fucking Cannibal Corpse and shit like that.
Progresses and that's what I was gonna ask next. Like, how did you first get into like all the music and stuff? Like what age and that? I mean, obviously you pretty much just answered it there for me. Like, but Joe, what about you, man? What sort of age did you start getting into music and stuff like? And what were your early influences before hearing about metal and punk and stuff, or was that the first thing you heard before hearing other stuff?
I'm gonna be honest, right? When I was little, the first CD that I ever bought, like I'd saved up my pocket money for like weeks and weeks, and I bought like a Sum 41 CD. That's like the era that I grew up at. Yeah, so I bought a Sum 41 CD. But I opened up all the booklet and that, and there was like a geezer having like his heart ripped out of his chest. And it like proper like fucking scared me. That was like the first time I was like, what is this kind of shit? Then I got into like Green Day and shit like that. And I liked
what Green Day album? The first one, mate.
Insomniac, Dookie, fucking all of the best ones. Like,
yeah, I like Dookie, man.
Yeah, mate. I fucking rate Green Day highly. Got into that shit, and then I liked hip hop as well. Like, I say hip hop. It was like Get Rich or Die and 50 Cent kind of. That was like that kind of time kind of thing. So I was into that kind of shit.
See, that's mad because it's like as you just mentioned, like the age that the years that you were born, like so. 50 Cent was what, when I like 02, 03 time?
Yeah.
It was like 2001.
Yeah.
I swear.
Oh, it was
something like that, around that time.
Was it 2001? Because I was pretty sure, because I know the Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem's second album, that came out in 2000 because I was doing work experience down in fucking down Oxford Street, like one of these department stores and that. And I do remember that, like seeing all the adverts. I also remember seeing the advert for fucking Limp Bizkit, Chocolate Flavoured Water, and start. I can't remember the title, but that fucking album. So yeah, it's just kind of mad knowing that your early influences was sort of like right at the beginning of the fucking new millennium and shit.
Yeah, like, mate. I love all that early 2000 shit. I love that. By the way, can I just say that was 2003 50 Cent album? Just
see. Yeah, mate. I'm a walking encyclopedia. I didn't even need Google, mate. I just knew it off the top of my head, mate. Like, it's a gift. It's a gift, mate. It's a gift.
Just to go back a bit. So you're saying Sum 41 was the first guitar style music you was listening to?
That was the first CD that I ever bought. Yeah.
All right. But at this point, you weren't listening to metal or nothing.
Nah. I didn't know about metal.
What was you listening to then? Was you into music at all or nah? Like,
I wasn't really, to be honest. Like, I wasn't until it was. I used to like wrestling. I used to like wrestling quite a lot. Like I was probably year 4 or 5 when I started to get into Green Day. And then when I was when I was like year 6 or year 5, Get Rich or Die Trying came out. But then later on, I didn't really care that much about music. I did do guitar. Like I started guitar in primary school, and I kind of kept playing, but I was never like really that good of a guitarist. And then through wrestling, I ended up rediscovering rock and metal.
See, when you had old Triple H coming on, wasn't it?
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ever get the feeling that you fucked with the wrong person? Well, here's that feeling squeezed into 31 minutes of audio violence. This is Cold Hard Truth with their new album, Intimidation. Available for you to stream from all the usual places and to own on CD from Ruction Records when you visit www.ruction.com. And just remember, I know where you fucking live.
As Joey mentioned earlier on, you guys met up previously, and then obviously you've been playing in. Did you say you mentioned you played in different bands previously before starting up as the band?
Yeah.
And so, what band was you in previously?
I was in like a metally, like melodic, like metalcore-y, like.
You was in an emo band, weren't you?
Yeah, no. That's one thing that I could never say that I've done. But I was in like some fucking melodic, like metalcore-y, like I don't know. But I was in like straight up metal bands before that.
Yeah, no, same kind of thing, like a metalcore band.
Yeah,
with like, do you know what I mean? It's got like the riffs, and then it would have like some kind of like singing like chorus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, like that.
Yeah, all that kind of shit.
Did you have the hair as well? Did you have the like moppy hair thing?
I used to have moppy hair back in the day.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Would you want to ask Liam about? You had a question for him about his music shit, like.
Yeah, Liam, you mentioned about you said you went to some sort of performing arts college or something. Is that where you learned guitar?
So my school that I went to was like, you get schools are all different. Like one will like specifying like science or some shit like that. But my one was like performing arts. So there's a lot of kids that went to that school that were like musicians and whatnot. So I just met a lot of people through that school that was like good musicians and whatnot. And then after that, I went to a college up in Kilburn, which was like a music college.
Oh wow!
I know that.
Yeah, ICMP it was called. After that, I just kind of done nothing for like half a year, and then got into doing like plumbing and shit like that. But
so, can you read music and stuff like that? Can you read music or?
Nah, this is the thing. I'd done all right with it when I was there, but as soon as I left there, especially at that age, all I cared about was just going out getting fucked up all the time. when I left it, I never ended up reading music again, I don't think.
Shit happens, innit, mate? Shit happens. But anyway, so how and when did Splitknuckle actually start, like, and who was the original members and how did it come about, basically?
Like Joe was saying earlier, like we met through like music and that, because like I saying, we're from different areas. So before at school and that, I didn't have a clue who Joe and that was, because they lived near South End and I lived like Basildon way. So yeah, we didn't have a clue who each other was. And then it was about 16, maybe 15. Yeah, probably about 15, 16 we actually first knew of each other. And then we ended up becoming mates, like, I don't know, better mates like a couple of years later.
How did you meet? Like, through mutual friends in that, like, or?
Well, no, it was through music, wasn't it? Through playing bands with them two bands we were saying about.
Same.
Yeah, basically the first ever encounter that I remember of Liam was he actually, like the guitarist for the band that I was doing vocals in at the time, said, like, we've got this guitarist filling in for us, kind of thing. And I'd known of Liam's band before, but I didn't know Liam before. And he basically filled in this set for us. And I was a bit half-hearted about this band anyway at that time, for me anyway, because it was just a weird one. And Liam filled in, and he basically just like blagged the set, which obviously anyone who knows me knows that I can respect like someone blagging something. That's what I do with 90% of absolutely everything. You just blag it. And yeah, he just blagged it. And then outside, I don't know, I just got talking to him, got on really well with him, started to know him better. But in terms of Splitknuckle starting, I think really what ended up happening was we knew some people who was into hardcore, or like Liam knew these people first. Started a band with them called Backhander, which was like a hardcore punk.
So it's like
band.
A punk band, yeah.
Basically, you know, Never Again. You know, Never Again, like the straight edge band, like the punk, like straight edge.
I don't know. I've got to be honest.
I can't say them personally.
Honestly, check them out. They were from Kent, I think, like Margate or something like that.
Yeah. Carried Away.
What year is this?
Carried Away.
You say they all Carried Away records?
Yeah.
So they must have been early 2000s then or something. Not early 2000s because you were young, like, so
like
mid 2000s, like mid to late, mid to late.
Yeah.
So can I just ask a quick question before you go on? So you knew of hardcore at this point, or this is you just discovering hardcore?
That was like the discovering point. We kind of like near enough at the same time, wasn't it? Like ended up getting into it at the same time. Because like, I left school. When I was in school, I'd never heard of hardcore. Never heard anyone talk about it. Like, you know, it's just something I never heard of.
Yeah.
Then I met a couple mates after school when I was in college who were all into it. and they said, "Oh, come to a show like and whatnot." And then I think it was Prowler played the first show, and then I met Joe. With them people, we ended up starting making some like hardcore music, and then made our own band. Like,
where was that? Was that? Is Southend or in London? Like,
oh, what's that?
Where you saw Prowler?
The Prowler.
No, Camden.
Oh, so far. So it must have been.
Turtle. Yeah, with Shah Halud.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah. Say, Joe, you were saying, you was telling a story. Go on.
Saying about like first just like seeing anything to relate to hardcore kind of thing. I think I was playing in that band that obviously Liam ended up filling in for. And basically the guy that was one of the guys that like Liam ended up knowing like just before me kind of thing, who was into hardcore, who took him to that show, like the Prowler and Shah Halud one. He started hardcore dancing to like my band at the time's like set kind of thing. And I was like, I'd never seen that shit before. And I swear to God, like, the whole crowd was standing there doing nothing, and then there's just one geezer, like
just getting mental.
Imagine shows now with just like a horseshoe and then like a couple of people moshing or whatever, and people say about that. But this was literally like a whole crowd of people doing nothing, and like just one geezer is just having it. I didn't know what I was looking at. Like I didn't know what this thing was until I spoke to him and like worked out what this thing was. Last thing that I'd seen like that was actually Irate Vendetta video, which was like I see quite early on, like years before that. I'd seen someone shared it on Facebook and I was like, oh, that's like really aggressive. It looks like the crowd's like basically having a fight with each other kind of thing.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So obviously you all met up then at Splitknuckle started. So can you just talk us through who were the original members, the first defining members of Splitknuckle? Do you know? Obviously, of course, you remember it's your fucking band, isn't
it? Me and Liam were on guitar. Matt was on drums. Matt's still our drummer, obviously.
Sick.
So we're the three original members that are still in it to this day.
Oh wow!
And then we had a different vocalist at the time, and we had a different bassist at the time. But around the time that we started Splitknuckle, we was also me and Liam was in like a thrash metal. Like thrashy hardcore, like crossover kind of band called Run Your Mouth. And Critty was the other guitar player in that band. And just naturally, very organically, he just ended up being in Splitknuckle.
I see.
And I moved over to vocals because we didn't have a vocalist at the time. And we didn't have a second guitarist at the time. So I was going to still stay on as a second guitarist, but I was just going to do vocals for the first EP, which was the first 4-track that we put out, called Nothing Left Unsaid. And I just only did vocals on that so that we could find a vocalist and say, look, this is the reference. But we ended up doing it. And then we was like, I'm just going to stay the vocalist. Fuck it.
We'll get to your first release, obviously. But did you put out a demo before that, or you didn't?
We had a demo and an EP before that, where I was on guitar and we had a different vocalist. The other one was called "Bring It Back." "Bring It Back" was the other one.
I'm just curious. What was the attraction to hardcore? What was it about hardcore that made you want to leave what you was doing and start a hardcore band?
This is what I'm going to say. So I left this previous band I was doing, I think, before I really like got into it. So I just went to this show. My mate said, come along to this show. I went to it and I just remember standing in there. It was pretty packed. And then like a band just started playing it and it just fucking like erupted in there. And I'd never seen anything like it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like going to a metal show. I'd never seen people like run into the side, smacking people up. And I was like, fucking hell.
It was the energy. I
was like, this is a different level of energy, like, and then ever since then, I just started going to more shows and whatnot. Made my own, like Splitknuckle. Well, Backhander first was the one, and then made Splitknuckle, and then
okay, cool.
Then just got more into it as it went on. But Prowler was like the bit that I remember being like, fucking hell, like what is going on here, like, because especially Prowler as well, a band that's like So I liked like kind of like technical stuff anyway, but like Prowler got like crazy fucking riffs as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like I saw that mixed in with the heaviness. I was like, fucking hell, this is something I've never experienced before. I just blew my mind. Man.
They were the first guys who were interviewed on Everyone But Us podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Prowler.
I've heard that.
Yeah, fucking legend.
2 years ago now.
2 years, I know it's fucking mental. Like Liam asked, so Joe, what about yourself? Like, what made you feel the hardcore thing, like, or get into it? Like,
to be honest, I always liked the heaviest parts of metal, like as in the parts that just made you wanna like headbutt something.
Bang.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, just shit like that. Like, yeah, that was how it was for me. And then like seeing that there was this like crowd actual like reaction that could happen rather than just like everyone just head banging, synchronized kind of thing. Yeah, just I don't know, like how from when I first saw someone like hardcore dance, like I related to that in terms of like if there's like a heavy part kind of thing, like I just related to that, and I was like, yeah. And then just after the more I saw of it, the more I was just magnetized towards it.
So when did you guys play your first ever show as Splitknuckle then? Do you remember it? Like, do you remember the year and where and what venue was it? 2012
December. And there's a video of it on YouTube still. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was Spread Eagle in Southend, 2012. Yeah, just like December at some point.
So at that point, have you still got your emo fringe haircuts?
No.
We're gonna link the video in the comments.
Long gone. We knew that weren't cool way before then. We're dressed up to impress, mate. Trust me.
So obviously after that, you sort of like probably thought, oh fucking hell, we could do something with this band. We could probably go somewhere and play some more shows. When did you start getting asked to play shows, or did you hit up a few people if you could get us some bills and stuff? Like,
I mean, like, wasn't it like as like a collective, like Jacob? Do you know Jacob O'Sullivan?
I do know Jacob O'Sullivan. Yeah.
So he started putting on shows in like Southend, and we had them those like the EHC shows, and we just like organised them myself, mainly like Jacob, and it was just shows in Southend. And that's how we started playing, wasn't it? We didn't play outside of Southend for a bit.
No.
And then gradually, I think we just got offered a show at some point. I remember Croydon being an early one, but fucking yeah, most of them were in Southend.
What were some of the bands in from that period?
It was all just literally. It was the same, like from SKC, which is just our group of friends, which is from like Rayleigh, which is like that central, place that I was talking about, to like all of us kind of thing. It was literally, there's like maybe 20 of us, maybe 25 people, and we just have bands within ourselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we've got Splitknuckle. Then back then we had Run Your Mouth, which is like a thrashy, the crossover kind of style. There was CB6. Which is like, crossover-y, like all sorts of influences. We had Nil Bar Mouth, which was like a straight-up beat-down band. Beer Money. Yeah, of course. How can I forget? Which was beer, which was a beer-influenced hardcore punk band.
They were really fucking good, mate.
Yeah, mate, legit.
They were really good, mate. They were a really good band.
Certified. Yeah, they got to come back. Brad Money, if you're hearing this, you got to come back, mate. Sort your things out, mate.
things happen in life. Things happen in life and shit, innit? Like, so it would be cool if they played one off or something like that.
No, I said we played a little. We played a show in the summer actually in Brighton. First show in years we played, and it was quality. It was just in like someone's garage in the fucking garden. And fucking madness, mate. Nice, one of them ones, But yeah.
Was that the show you played with? This summer that's just gone recently, yeah?
Yeah.
The previous summer. Oh, okay.
Yeah, last year,
Previous summer. I don't think we're going to get a summer this year. Never mind.
Don't mind us.
Chances are looking slim, isn't it?
Fucking hell, mate. It's fucking mad. So, obviously, you played a few shows and that. did you think people would take to you guys straight away? Like, what was the reception like when people started seeing you?
I mean, people liked it, innit? But like, I think at first it was a bit like, because mainly it was just your mates and that who was seeing you play for the start.
Oh, no.
So I think when we first played a show outside of South, and that was a bit like, oh shit, how's it gonna go down and that? But I remember it going well and people fucking liking it. Like,
where was your first show outside of Southend?
I remember that Croydon one and one in Southampton as well, a pub in Southampton.
That was. Do you know what? Do you know what? That was our second or third show. So actually, like we. And even after we played Southampton, we only played Essex shows for ages because we just didn't. We was like begging people to get shows outside of there.
Oh really?
Yeah. But
so
Southampton
was ignored.
Yeah, we was getting ignored, mate.
Wow,
but I will say this. So like second or third show was Southampton. We played in Essex like for ages after that, and Tony Evans, right? If you're listening, big up Tony. Yeah, his old band Goliath played at 12 Bar, and I messaged him basically saying like, "Oh, how can we do that?" Because we didn't really get like London shows ever. I think Ben Noel, actually, if you're listening, he booked us on our first London show.
That makes sense.
And then,
at the Unicorn. Yeah.
No, it wasn't even Unicorn. It wasn't even Unicorn. The first time we played Unicorn, Mog put it on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was Mog put it on. It was Prowler, Sentenced. It was going into that era, like the Sentenced, like UK Hardcore Forum on Facebook era, like, when shit was fucking crazy.
About 2013, 2014 time.
Yeah. 2013, 2014. But just before the Unicorn, basically after Ben the World did, that was like a one-off show that he put on. I don't think he was really putting on shows back then. We played Essex for ages and ages and ages, and then I messaged the email that Tony sent to me, and I think either Pierre or Poppy got back to us and basically was like, "Do you want to play this show?" So we did. But our vocalist at the time was like, "Oh, I'm getting tattooed in London that day, so I can't play it." And we was like, "You're a dickhead. Like, this show is in London." So what are you talking about? So basically we asked Brad Money, Beer Money vocalist, to just fill in on vocals for that show, and he did it. And my first, actually, that wasn't the first time that we went to 12 Bar, but that was the first time that we played there. And Pierre came round, shaking all of our hands and shit like that. It meant a lot. It's a crazy time.
Old 12 Bar, of course, yeah?
Old 12 Bar, yeah, the original.
Yeah, the original. Sick.
I'm so glad that we was able to play there a couple of times.
Yeah. Mate, you trust me, like, yeah.
Honoured to have
trust me, mate. Don't get me wrong, like, because you know what 12 Bar was like. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking in them days, like, so I can't really remember much. Like, I remember some shows, but yeah, man. There's a lot of bands today who wish they could have fucking had the chance to have played. Yeah. Even have gone to see a band at the 12 Bar, the old one. Like, so for you guys to have been a part of that and to play the show there, that's really fucking cool. Like, so
that is cool.
Respect you guys, like, man, for real, trust me.
Were you guys aware of Special Move and Raiden from Essex at that point?
When we first got into it, I remember Special Move was listen to Special Move in it, and then I think that's when I started writing like riffs for like Splitknuckle and shit like that. I remember in your fucking kitchen, it was like, "Oh shit, this shit's fucking mad." But I didn't hear Raiden for a little bit until after that, to be honest. Because there weren't a lot of hardcore shows in that kind of era when we got it. We was the ones putting on or Jacob putting on the shows in Southend and that. Weren't really like Raiden and that playing anymore. Well, for like a few years, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when they split up. Like the weird thing is I think the last Special Move show was, what was it, 2012? 2012. I think
I remember.
It might have been earlier than that. 2011 or something. Yeah,
mate. Yeah. So we literally got into it like either the year or the year after, like the fucking band.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, they'd stopped and we'd only just got into it. Like it was fucking mad. So
did you know about the EBD and all that? Essex Beatdown.
We did actually know about it quite early on, but I mean early on as in when we got into it. So we was already too late still, though. Like,
yeah, because we like missed all that kind of shit.
Yeah, and that was one of the most fucking frustrating things ever. Was like, okay. But I will say though, Andy Baz had a band after that with Leon. And I think Matt Marlowe, Muco Flores, and one of my very, very early bands, legit band. One of my very, very early bands when I was 14 or 15, played with them to just an empty room for every single band. And I was like, I don't know, it kind of ties into like when I first saw like hardcore-esque shit, but I was like, why is the vocalist and the guitarist on the floor, like kicking and punching the fuck out of everything? Like, Muco Flores was like I see them. I was around during that time, but we just missed the boat on that shit. We was a couple of years too late.
It's kind of bittersweet. Obviously, you just missed out on it, but then at the same time, you come out and forge your own sort of path as well. Like so. Obviously, there's that generation of Essex bands, Raiden, and obviously, of course, Special Mover. But then you guys are within your own right. So now there hopefully will be a new generation of Essex bands who just say, like, oh, Splitknuckle was the band that got me into hardcore. So, like...
No, I would love to see an hardcore fest in Essex with just Essex bands, old and new.
Yeah.
That'd be dope, man.
Dream of that shit.
Yeah.
Dream of that shit, cool, honestly.
Right? Yeah. So there was a few years ago they put on the fucking done the Essex Fest again, didn't they? A few years ago.
Yeah, Dean did. Dean
which
did.
is good because I'm like Point Down and that played some of the older Essex bands.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Point Down.
Fucking whatnot. But yeah, it would be mad if there was something like that again. Fucking.
No, yeah, because Essex actually got a really big history, man. Like.
Definitely, like fair play, and fair play to him for actually trying to revive it and put in. This is Dean we're talking about, for putting on starting it up again, like, and trying to get older bands to come out and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's difficult, isn't it? Like, and hopefully, because I mean, at the moment, what Essex bands are coming out at the moment? Obviously, besides you guys are still doing it. Like, are there any new bands on the horizon that you know of? Like, I know, what's it called, Connor. He's been trying to get a band up and running, like, started something, but there's nothing been materialised yet. Yeah, Connor, that's it, yeah. Jacobs. Yeah. I see, quick story. Someone said to me recently, I can't remember, it was maybe about 6 months ago. I think it might have been you, Liam, was talking and Connor was there and I was like, you know Jacob? And I was like, yeah, that's his brother. And I said, fuck off, that's his brother. He go, yeah, that's his brother. Then Connor go, yeah, I'm doing his brother. I was like, what the fuck? Connor's older than him, innit? Who's older?
He is.
It blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? And I looked at him, I was like, oh, fucking hell. They're so different. Like, it's so different. Like, they're two different people. Yeah. Thing. I want to just quickly ask you, like, how did you guys get the permanent residency at the Unicorn?
Do you know what? It's funny you saying that, yeah, because I see when you put out, like, have you got any questions for Splitknuckle? I see someone put, like, what's the best place that you played or something like that. And all I was thinking in my head was, like, I do just miss the Unicorn.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Man, I love the Unicorn, mate.
I'm not saying this in a horrible way, like, but fuck me, there was a period where every time I was chatting at the Unicorn, you guys were on it, like always playing it.
That was a whole year. I swear to God, it was the whole
felt like,
every time residency, mate.
Genuinely, besides a couple of weekends, honestly, like we played there fucking nearly every week, guys. Like it was getting out of hand. We had to just say, like, we're not going to play London for a bit. Because we just ruined ourselves with Unicorn.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will say this. We got to play like shit like Outbreak where there's a lot of people there. And whilst I do still see that as one of our bigger achievements kind of thing, I rate Unicorn and just like the whole vibe around them shows, just seeing people and just like spending time on people kind of thing. I rate that above anything else.
Yeah. Unicorn definitely has that. Unicorn definitely has that little bit of the old toll bar vibe. Because obviously, it does have that vibe to it.
Because it's a pub as well, isn't it? It's just like, it's like going to the
just geezers, pub, really. You know what I mean? It is just geezers, just floating about.
So I'm going to kick it on a little bit. Like, I want to talk about your first ever release that you put out. And obviously you mentioned it earlier, called Nothing Left Unsaid, that came out in 2014. So who was obviously on that lineup then, and who recorded it, and did it come out on any label or anything at the time?
It originally got released just by us, just on our Bandcamp.
Oh, okay, so self-release.
The only people that recorded on it was literally me, Liam, and Matt.
Okay.
Because at the time when that was actually recorded, they were kind of the only members of that band, like pretty literally, like the only members of that band. Johnny, our pal from Southampton, like UIC head, who used to do like obviously all the UIC fests, all of that shit. He thought about starting up his old label, Rage Records, again, and he did. And then he put out that I think he just put out a tape of that 4-track, and then ended up doing our next release.
That's Johnny Pipes talking about you.
Yeah, Johnny Pipes.
Big up Johnny. I hate you, cunt, but I love you.
That's nice.
I do love him. Honestly, I love you.
Did you tour the release at all? Like,
no, we didn't tour it, did we?
We just played like as many shows that we possibly could.
You just played the Unicorn for you, like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Yeah. I imagine a Splitknuckle t-shirt, tour t-shirt, and it's just unicorn.
Yeah, no.
You should do that, actually.
Yeah, we should.
Mate, I want to play there again. I want to play there again.
You should try and find other places around the world that are called a Unicorn and try and fucking play there.
People do like the Roebuck tour around the UK. We're just going to do the Unicorn tour around the world. Anywhere called Unicorn.
So obviously you put that out then. A couple of years passed. How many years passed between that and your second release that you put out?
2.
I mean, that's not a particularly long time, but obviously you did have a lot of buzz around you at the time. I mean, you played in a lot of shows. People were definitely into you because going to the shows, seeing all the kids dancing, a lot of the older heads as well, like dancing to your band. So it kind of felt like there was a bit of a big gap between you guys putting a new release out. Was there any particular reason why it took so long to I don't want to say too long, but why was there a bit of a gap between putting out that release and then your second one, which is called Ignorance Bleeds?
Liam can
answer
this.
Go on, Liam. Yeah, go on. Let's hear it from you, Liam.
It's just us. We was like, because people was asking us for ages, like, when you bring out the next thing, but I don't know. We're never the type to rush ourselves about anything. It just happens in our own time, if you know what I mean. Like,
that's fair enough.
You ain't part of a label. Like, Johnny was putting it out, but it weren't like there's anyone going, it's got to be out by then and that and whatnot. It's just like, it'll get there eventually.
I will say this though. I feel like, to be honest, Liam, I was expecting you to say what I'm about to say, which is basically like it was actually done a very long time before it was actually done. But I was messing around with the vocals for so long.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, probably about half a year. Like, honestly, at least half a year. I was like messing around with vocals, like rewriting lyrics and just, I don't know. That was a weird time for me because I couldn't write lyrics anymore. So I was like, or I was just rediscovering how to write lyrics. Like I just genuinely couldn't write anything.
What, so you had like a bit of a writer's block, or you
honestly,
say that, or...
yeah. Like I've not really had it in many other forms as bad as that ever. Like that was so long, I just couldn't write anything.
Well, you couldn't think of topics to write about, or
any topics that I was thinking of, I was finding that I was just taking like token topics that everyone tries to talk about just for the sake of talking about it. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you, mate.
It's like seriously, a lot of people do this, and my thing is always, I'm not very good at like actually doing the writing part, but the concept and like the topic, I don't really want to do like just generic shit, which I do find myself ending up doing a lot of the time just by accident. But yeah,
I can't pay the bills.
Yeah, you know, just fuck the system. Fuck the system.
Like, I feel you, man.
Yeah, so it's hard.
My mate fucking never bought me a pint at the pub, like that sort of shit. Like,
yeah, and I'm still fucking very angry about it. You know, I'm fucking annoyed because this cunt does it every single time as well.
Did you record that stuff yourself? Then did you record it yourself, or?
We recorded it with the bass player / vocalist of CB6, which is my other band that I play drums in. He did that first 4-track, that whole thing. He did that.
What has he got? Did he got a home studio, or does he actually record bands?
No, like he did that shit with his computer in his bedroom, and we did actually live record the drums. We rented out like a rehearsal space for like 4 hours or something. It just did.
That's pretty cool, man.
Just quickly, that geezer you just said, the CB6, the bassist, he was fucking giving it some when I see them play. When I see you guys play one time, like he plays bass like a fucking man possessed. Like
is he the tall guy? Is he quite tall?
No, he's tall, bro.
It's funny,
mate. It's funny, bro.
Funny that you're saying that.
There is that.
He's tiny, bro. Like he's fucking like.
He does a Lemmy with a bass. Yeah, he does a Lemmy with the bass. But he's a legit geezer. Like legit. I like playing in CB6 because I used to like him like years ago before I was actually in him, kind of thing. And when I was like 13, 14, 15, I was listening to that band and I ended up playing drums for him. And he did our first Splitknuckle release. Legitimate, like certified geezers. Very good guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something. I just wanted to say something before we go too far because I think it's relevant now. Mutboo, the guitarist from Bun Them Out, singer in Ironed Out, I remember him saying to me, I think before I saw Splitknuckle, he said to me, "Oh, you've got to see this band called Splitknuckle," because anyone that knows Mutboo, he's really into his guitar playing and technical. He's like he likes technical stuff. And he was waving on about, the guitarist was doing this and he's doing all that and they're really technically good. And I used to hear that all the time about bands. Like, so I never used to pay any mind. But I remember the first time I saw you guys, I was like, shit, man, like you guys can fucking play, man.
Where was the first time that you saw us?
Unicorn?
It might be Unicorn.
Surprise.
On your tour, I was waiting for it.
Before we get to, I don't want to skip over. How did you get so good on your instruments? Like,
I don't know. That first, Nothing Left Unsaid. You wrote Closure, wasn't it? You wrote Closure, but besides that, I think I wrote the rest of the other 3 tracks on it.
I only wrote one song, and even that needed a bit of Liam's magic to it. So he did a little bit on that. But yeah, the rest of it was Liam. Smashed it, mate. He smashed it.
Liam, how do you approach your guitar writing then?
I think a lot of the time as well is just more focusing on your own thing, not listening to a lot of bands and then saying, "No, I want it to sound like this." There's been a lot of music I played in, and people were like, "Oh, I need a riff that sounds exactly like this band, whatnot." I just kind of fucking let it just come out and just do my own thing with it. You know what I mean? Just fucking.
That's the way, mate.
Just to try and keep your originality about you, You're just gonna end up sounding like every other fucking band. You know what I mean?
Do you purposely try and make it technical? Because your time signatures and stuff like that is very... Like, I listen to your songs and there's a lot of riffs. It changes. It doesn't stick to one pattern. It changes all the time. Is that something you like to do?
It changed. It's nothing that's really fucking like deliberate a lot of the time. It's just like what flows like together really. Fucking sometimes like everyone, there'll be times I sit there try and write and I can't even fucking come up with one thing I think sounds good. And then there'll be times where there's like a whole track that we've like released that you could just fucking all flows together. But like I said, yeah, it's fucking, I never like try and deliberately go like, right, I'm going to go from like 4/4 to like some fuck time signature. It's just what comes really.
He
try
just
not to overthink it that much, yeah.
He just does it. No, what I will say is this, yeah, is Liam's quite modest, but what I will say is this, is if I could just like sum up Liam and like his guitar playing, he comes from tech metal, but he also has an ear for like feeling in music.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because like, that's a lot of people in tech metal and shit like that, they're
just fucking, they're like robots, like.
Yeah,
like robots.
I really do like that. Like, I like death metal and shit. Like, I really like that. But in terms of hardcore and like hardcore application, like this geezer understands that world of it, but also has the feeling. You know what I mean? Like the
soul.
Yeah.
You gotta have the soul, mate.
He's good with it. Yeah. That's what I mean.
You got soul, brother.
He likes. I know. He likes Luther Vandross, like, so of course.
Anyone that doesn't deserves a death penalty.
Definitely.
To God. I swear to God.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. A very big fan.
You want to hear our van when we're traipsing around Europe with our little fucking, like Alexander O'Neill, Luther.
I want to see that playlist. Yeah, come on.
That is the one, mate. That is. So yeah, you know, earlier on you spoke about it. That one of your first original shows was down in Southampton. So is that when you originally met the UIC lot? Is that how you guys? Because I've noticed that you guys are pretty tight. Like, you hang out. Some of you are in the same bands together, and that. Like, was that the original time when you guys actually sort of like cemented a friendship with a lot of the people down here in Southampton and the surrounding area?
I don't think it was, to be honest. I don't think it really was.
It was the first show we played there, innit? But it just kind of opened their eyes to us, yeah.
Yeah, the only person that we knew was Johnny. That is...
okay.
Johnny was the guy who said about doing the show and confirmed it. Yeah, he was literally the only person. We played there at the same time with a man called Off Balance.
That's another.
And they was also an Essex band. Yeah. Ben Kamal. Do you know Ben Kamal?
I can't say I do, mate.
Nah.
You know him if you see him. One of our brothers.
I'm bad with fucking. I'm bad. Oh, Ben Kamal, what? Essex kids.
Yeah,
Essex. Yeah.
The brown skin brother.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him.
Legend. Yeah.
That was proper profiling, man. I'm one of the best at profiling, man.
Yeah, man.
Brown skin brother.
Terrible.
PC in 2020.
I'm allowed to, innit? Like.
But yeah, man. Yeah, his other band. His band at the time that he was doing vocals for, he ended up being one of the vocalists in Nil by Mouth, which was an SKC band. And he was one of two vocalists with Brad Money as well from Beer Money. Brad from Beer Money. Yeah, and it was their band as well. But yeah, to be honest, we didn't really speak to anyone there really that I can remember besides Johnny who booked it. But we later found out, I think Josh Gibbons was there. I think, you know, X, Y, Z other person was there. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. After that, I think we played in Southampton with Back Down, and I was still. No, it wasn't Back Down. It was actually Dogfight, which is members from Back Down's other band. Yeah, you remember Dogfight? Actually, legit band. They was actually sick. They were sick. Yeah, we played there with them, and Johnny and Gibbons see us there. And they see us performing new material, and they was like, get you on the UIC Fest. So we did the UIC Fest. I was already on vocals by that point because all the other shit happened between then. I think Cartel played that. I think Cold Hard Truth played that with...
That's right.
Is it Merv?
No, with the singer.
True Valiant's vocalist. What's his name?
Andy.
Andy.
Right.
Yeah, Andy. Keeping with the UIC Southampton, so you guys are actually Nihility now, aren't you? That's Josh's band you just mentioned, isn't it?
Yeah. Josh Gibbons is the vocalist, and Josh Williams from Grove Street Families is the drummer. I'm on bass. Liam's on guitar, and Larry, our bassist from Splitknuckle, is also on guitar.
I've actually got a question from Josh. He wants to ask Liam, why is your head so large?
Is this Josh Gibbons?
Yeah, he hit me up this afternoon and wants to know.
Have you seen the state of that cunt's head, mate? Since he shaved his head, you ever seen the bald nonce video, mate? That's exactly what
The problem with Gibbons is he stole his head from Easter Island.
I listened to his little soul thing that he did the other day. Like, it's not too bad. Like, it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
It's all right. Like, yeah,
no,
it's all right.
He's good.
It's all right. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, mate. Not better than me, but it's all right.
At the same time, fuck off, Jibs.
Obviously, release number 3 again, 2 years later. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Why did it take so long?
Because, mate, we take long. No, but honestly, it just somehow we just did take fucking ages. No, this weren't me this time. We was just playing still. I think it's clear to work out. Like, it's so easy to work out that we just prefer playing shows than we do writing. We're not even writing. To be honest, writing isn't a problem at all. It's just recorded. Has been a problem for us because we've went from like really good production to shit production to like nowadays like okay production. Like then we did it ourselves.
The first release, like the production that is fucking really good, like, and then the other stuff, like, it's good.
You could tell that's home recordings. I still think it was good for what it is.
Yeah.
So, but it's really hard because in this current climate, everyone's going for that big production,
that crisp production.
Yeah,
and sometimes it loses a lot of what it's about in it. Like when it's
that is true. Like definitely, I do respect that. Like, I mean, obviously as well, like a lot of this shit costs money as well. Like, but I can imagine if like one of your later releases that you did, if you went to Studio 6 or you went to another dude who does really good production, I reckon it would sound fucking beefy. But as you just said, it might lose a little bit of its soul because, as you just said, that's how like Liam plays in that. So it's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? But
to be honest, the thing is like I feel like we've kind of hit the ceiling of like we've almost not deliberately, but like tried to not prove, but we've just done things super DIY for like a long time. That's pretty much just like what we've tried to do. And I think we've realised like we've kind of hit the ceiling of like how good our DIY recordings are really ever going to sound. Like, that's what, like the newest single that we did, that's why we did it the way that we did it kind of thing. And that's kind of a step in the right direction of where we're kind of trying to go with it, and like
that's actually, at Monolith Studios, isn't it?
Yeah.
Charlie, yeah.
Big up Charlie.
You know what? I want to commend you guys on that, man, because you're doing it organically. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And the fact that you take a long time between releases and you do it yourself says to me you're doing it more for the love than trying to blow up and be this. Do you know what I mean? You're doing it the right way, man. Respect.
I've got a second woman on that. I definitely have to second woman on that because there are some bands like who literally have all the merch and have all the fucking shit, and then like they put out some fucking free track and they've spent like the best part of $4 fucking grand in it, and like you listen to it once, you're like, yeah, that's all right, and no one gives a fuck about them, and they split up. Like, it's true though. Like, let's be real. Like, it's fucking true.
It's true, mate.
So as long as you're happy with what you do, like, and people obviously still do like your band, like this, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they fucking say, innit? Like, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we are trying to up it a bit now. Yeah,
you got a video for that as well, haven't you? Where did you film all that stuff? Like, how long did that take to film? Was it a long ass stay and shit? Or
what the video? Yeah, it was just
the video.
Started off in Southend. and then it was just a couple more spots in Essex. Coal-Ass Fort, which is all by Tilbury down the river, like near the docks and all that. And then we went to our mate Spags who I was at in Shoreditch. We went there for the end bit, and then had a bit of a party and a drink and that and whatnot. And then, that was the last part of it.
That's. I wasn't there, but that's the infamous Gibalba show. That's where that happened, isn't it?
Yeah. That's where that was. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah.
After Sweatfest, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you not never fucking filmed a bit of Peter Pan Land in your fucking, your video like that in Southend. It might have been open at the time, though, didn't it? Like,
no, it weren't open. But if it was open, we would have been in there.
On the roller coaster.
To keep it ultra realistic. We wanted to keep it ultra realistic. We don't have the money to be going into Adventure Island like that. No.
Yeah. So obviously, you know me, like, when we're from East, innit? Like, so obviously, you know, a lot of friends in that growing up. Like, maybe when was the same, but when I was growing up, I always used to hear man's like summertime, we'd be like, where you going? Oh, we're going surfing. I was like, yeah. What's so good about? But I used to think, what's so good about surfing?
You used to have
I really want to go. Like,
nothing nowadays.
You just used to drive round and round.
Nowadays. Yeah, nothing.
Just driving up and down the high street.
To be honest, do you know what? My thing is my version of Essex, I don't really think that it's that sick. But because of the fact that people slate us so much, that's why I love it so much. You know what I mean? I've got to stand up for us a bit and just say that.
Of course, man.
I fucking love Essex. But at the same time, it's a little bit shit. Like, if you go to Southend, I don't know what you see, in terms of a holiday.
It's just there's a fucking beach and like hot.
Yeah, there's a beach.
And there's a Wimpy there. There's still a Wimpy there.
And a Wimpy,
yeah. We've got Wimpies. We've got Wimpies still.
We got Wimpies.
There's a Wimpy in fucking Wembley, mate.
You got one Wimpy in Essex,
mate. We're like
that's at the bus station as well.
Oh yeah, you got the bus station.
We've got at least 2 or 3.
Ooh, fucking hell.
2 Wimpies.
What ruined it for Essex was The Only Way Is Essex. When that programme came out, Essex lost a lot of credibility, man.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Actually,
it did, but
seriously.
I thought it was Rise of the Foot Soldier 2 and 3, like.
That's the classics.
Like, I'm not cussing. I ain't cussing Carlton Leach because, like, he's no fucking joke. But those films are fucking number 2 and 3 are bad, mate. But number 1's fucking savage, mate. Savage.
No, but I used to go clubbing in Southend and Basildon. I used to go Liquid and then Basildon, and then I used to go area in Southend.
I listened to when TRC was on this. They said the story.
Oh yeah.
Bas Vegas.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's excellent. So yeah, just keep.
When I was in Calibre with Baz and Leon. Fucking, we used to go to the Alex. And
the Alex.
I went to somewhere called the Pink Toothbrush as well, some metal.
Yeah,
Rayleigh, that's it, Rayleigh.
No, this is what I'm saying. You know, I said about Rayleigh is like the centre for like all of like SK6. That's what I'm talking about. Pink Toothbrush.
That place.
That is it. You stick to the floor. Do you know what? It used to be called Crocs. Yeah, because they used to have a live alligator in a fish tank in that place.
Oh, yeah. Tiger King fucking shit.
Yeah, that's why I used to
Joey Exotic working in there.
Yeah. Fingering the alligator, mate.
Fucking hell, that's definitely definitely taking a turn, this conversation. Fingering alligators in fucking Rayleigh, like, wow.
Music's the bestiality in one foul swoop.
So yeah, I wanted to ask, obviously, getting back to the music and that, like, your latest release, did you put it out on you got a label, haven't you, Joey?
Nah, not really. I mean, it was supposed to be originally, but it ain't that. It was supposed to be. Like, yeah, it was. Stay, Keep and Count is basically like, that's SKC. That's what SKC stands for. People tend to think that it means Splitknuckle, but it doesn't. I don't know why that acronym would be in that order, like if it was Splitknuckle. I don't know. But SKC means Stay, Keep and Count. When we released that, Innocence Bleeds, the original idea was, we're going to have a label, but As with
hard
everything.
work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, mate. I ain't gonna lie. It's a fucking lot of work. Yeah.
There's a lot of counting, isn't there?
There is, and I respect anyone who does a label, but that's not. I ain't got. It's not that I ain't got time like that. I just ain't got the effort to make use of my time like that. You know what I mean?
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
Right. So basically, when was it, Steve? Was it 2 years? Was it a year ago? No, 2 years ago, we played Edinburgh for our friend Ian. We went up to fucking Scotland to play a show, like.
Yeah.
So Joey's with us. I think we had one practice tonight, and we was like, "Yeah, this is cool. Like, he'll be all right with the fucking band and that." So we're supposed to meet at Stansted Airport. We've all got there on time. Boo's taking a train from Milton, taking a coach from Milton Keynes. I've got there with Wemmer and fucking Tom, and Steve's turn up, like. And we're there, we're fucking waiting, like, to go through. And I was like, where the fuck's Joey? Like, why is he taking so long for? So I thought, fuck, let me give him a call. So I rang him, and I go, Joey, where are you? Yeah. And I was like, Joey, where are you, mate? And he's like, oh, geez, I'm on my way, innit? Like, I'm 15 minutes away. And I thought, this is it. I thought he said 15. But he goes, he was 50 minutes away, like. I was like, bruv, we got a fucking flight. I mean, anyone who knows Ryanair, if you're not there on fucking time, even if the flight's running late.
I feel like I know what this is about. No, my favourite part of that was getting in the car, and you rung me basically saying like, "Oh, you are Joey? Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm like 40 minutes away." And you was like, "Oh, 14, that's all right." And I was like, "No, 40." And you was like, whoa. Hang on, come here, Gig. What are you fucking doing? Yeah. And then when I got there, Wemmer, you were standing there, like with your headphones on, kind of thing. And then like, I
didn't think you were gonna make it, man.
What was it? That was it, because we was all waiting, and I think Steve was like, "Oh, come, let's fucking wind him up and say that he's not here yet." So we all met up, and Wemmer had already gone through security and was on the other side. And so we was messaging, and we was going, "Oh, Wemmer, he's not here, mate." And Wemmer was like, and then we all just turned up, right? And then he see us, he was like, fucking started laughing. But that was a good fucking weekend, man. Fucking the venue was a bit mental though, wasn't it? Like that fucking Labyrinth place, yeah. What was it called? Banshee's Labyrinth. That was it, yeah.
I really like that place. That's the little like grunger in me, like.
Mate, it had a little cinema. It had like a little cinema, like room for like snooker and shit. Like, oh mate, it was great.
Oh man,
decent, mate.
The craziest thing about that weekend was we stayed at a hostel.
No,
and there was a skaghead.
Oh my
God. Can you remember that? He walked in there and he had his t-shirt off.
Fucking
what was he doing?
He was fucking... Wasn't he like washing his feet or some shit? Like, he was like washing his feet or some just weird.
That
like,
geezer was
like, it was like, all right. And everyone was like, he started talking, and everyone just looked around at each other and was like, what the fuck? Like, and what did he say? Like, he was like, going,
fuck yeah, I remember this now. Like when we first got there.
Mate, yeah, it's like, yeah, they're after me. Like, they're coming after me. Like, he was just talking some odd shit. And I was like, everyone was like going, I was like, oh, fuck it, like, it's all right. We won, like, it was just one night. Everyone grabbed their bunks, and there was one bunk left, and it was me underneath this fucking, on top. I think I was on the top bunk, like, and I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get fucking juked, mate, in my fucking sleep. So I was like, fuck it.
He was having withdrawals, wasn't he? Because he kept fucking, he was just shivering and that, and he just kept going to puke.
Yeah, he was sweating out. Do you remember when we walked in there? It fucking stunk, geez.
Oh, it stunk so bad.
Of just someone just sweating some shit out. Like,
and there was the maddest thing is as well, there was another geezer in the room on the bunk, just sitting in there reading his book, like nothing was going on, like just going on, just regular old evening in Edinburgh. Yeah, there's a crackhead here, like I'm just going to read my book.
Yeah, he's the real weirdo. He is the real weird guy.
What was that geezer saying as well? Didn't he say something like he wrote or something? Oh, what?
He said that the feminists were out to get him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
He said some shit like that, like, oh, the feminists are out to get me or something.
And
he was like, have you got any weed?
Yeah, have you got any weed? Like,
fucking mad guy.
Oh, but the funniest thing was though, like I walked out. I was like, oh fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna go and get a drink down at the bar. Like I walked out, and then I think I forgot my wallet or something, and we all went back up together. Me, you, and McBoo, and we walked up right, and we was like, see Wemmer and that like on the corridor going, where are you going? And Wemmer was like, nah, man, I went to go change the room.
Fuck that. Bruv, there was no way I was going sleep. I weren't sleeping in that room with that guy.
It was mental.
No way.
That's the thing about that. That was fucking mental. Like, but yeah, I had the worst kebab of my life in Edinburgh. Mate. It was fucking absolute dog shit, mate. It was terrible. I remember that night being really cool, but also really fucking cold. Like, remember we was walking to the fucking hostel and we just got lost, like, and I was just taking you on the wild goose chase, and everyone was just vexed, like. Yeah, no one's talking. Everyone's vexed. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm just trying to remember it. Be honest with you.
Oh mate, yeah, that week
I got lost. I got lost, and I just went back to the hostel. And then you said that when you see me sleep. Oh no! Actually, before that, when I got back, someone had given us some weed or something like that from the venue. So I went down, and we were smoking, and then I came up, and I was having a mare, and then I went to sleep, and you said, Lou, when you said that you see me, and I looked like I was in a coffin or something.
I walked out into the bedroom, like, and he was like underneath the covers, but his arms were like on top of the covers. So he was underneath, but his arms were on top. It was almost like fucking mummy, like just all cozy up. And I was fucking crying, like, oh mate. Oh, that trip was fucking funny, man. Oh yeah, it was definitely a good fucking trip, man. I had a good laugh, but yeah, it was good. We played with Kingpin at their Mercy, which is Ian's band. G's band played HCH. And there was another band that opened up as well. Like, it was a really good fucking night, really good people. I remember drinking.
Yeah, it was good, man.
I drank so much Tennent's, mate.
I love Kingpin, man.
Oh, yeah, Kingpin are a fucking good band, mate.
Like, a lot of people know that Scotland is good, but I still feel like Scotland is underrated. It's a fucking good place, man.
How was, not how was, but you, with Nahility recently, you played Finland, or last year, is that correct? Did you go play there?
Yeah.
That was Liam. That was before I joined.
Okay. How was that, Liam? What was that like?
Mate, Finland was quality. It's always a laugh out there. Fucking, we're supposed to go there this month as well, mate. We're Splitknuckle on the Hillity. We had a tour. We was playing fucking Lapland, don't we? No, but yeah, we went over there with Splitknuckle as well. Played a little that day festival thing, and yeah, it's always a good laugh.
Who was that with? That was 6 Foot Ditch and Cold Hard Truth, wasn't it? Well, like the current version of 6 Foot Ditch, Cold Hard Truth. Yeah. That was only one show, but that was like, but the night before we actually played that show was
some madness always happens.
There was some. It basically involves Splitknuckle and Cold Hard Truth in a karaoke bar, and it just everything went so badly.
Tell us about it. Come on.
Go on. Let's hear about it. Yeah.
We're in a karaoke bar, and I didn't realise, but everyone had left bar like Larry and Matt from Splitknuckle, right?
All right.
And I was left with Tim, Craw, Sam. I was supposed to be going back to one specific house, which was with Liam and Larry.
Right.
And they'd already left, obviously. So I was like having a mare about trying to get back to there. And basically, in the process, like Cold Hard Truth had gone down the road and they got into some other thing in some other place, right? Which they can tell you about another time, right?
I'm sure they will.
But basically, this woman heard me like raising my voice to Christy and basically decided to attack me.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like straight up, right? And I don't know quite how to put this, but mate, she literally like launched at me like grappling. She was about to start fucking rear naked choking me or some shit.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was ready. Like they do not tolerate loud voices, clearly. But yeah, so that happened. Basically, she was like straight up attacking me. Somehow her glasses, like a lens from her glasses fell on the floor, and somehow some unknown person kicked like her lens of her glasses into the road. While she was trying to attack, I don't know quite what happened, but basically she was left looking in the road for her glasses, and oh man, I don't know. Yeah,
Then fucking cold hard truth come running from one way, and yous lot were running the other way. We met like halfway.
We met up
this road, like running away from a situation.
Yeah, basically, we'd met up and we both had a fucking mare, mate. Like it was proper Brits abroad. It was terrible. And then so that was all before the show, and then we ended up playing the show, and then
that was before the show. Like what the fuck?
That was the night before. Yeah.
Oh, the day before the show. I thought on the same night as the show. I was like,
I don't know what tends to happen, but whenever Splitknuckle is with Cold Hard Truth, there tends to be like some serious bad luck, or like just some fucking
just some
mad
fuckery,
shit
like
just keeps happening.
Yeah, just fucking.
You guys are the bad luck.
Did you ever get that mad fucking thing in Finland where it's like daytime and then all of a sudden it's like nighttime, just like that?
Yeah, it just switches over, doesn't it?
Just switches over like fucking super quick, like, and before you know it's like
it's weird like that, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah,
it's a really fucking lovely place, but it's just it's odd, man. It's odd.
Right, then this is the second question I was going to ask you about places that you played. What was Japan like?
It's like going to a different planet, mate, honestly. Like, everything's different there. Like, everything they do, mate. Like,
how many shows did you play out there?
Maybe five? Yeah, maybe. No. We had that last one that was added on. Basically, we was out there for 7 days, but we ended up playing, was it 6 shows? It was 6 shows, wasn't it? Yeah.
I kind of feel like I mean, there's no disrespect to friends in America and that, like, but I kind of feel like between Japan and America, Japan, even if they don't know your band, they'll fucking go off to it anyway. Like that's how I feel like, because it's just heavy music, they will just be down for it. Whereas in America, it's a bit like here in the UK, if they don't really know you too well, they're like, who the fuck are these guys?
Like, fuck with it that much.
Yeah, like they just. I mean, they'll watch your band, but like they're not gonna sort of like be like. They'll have to see a band a few times to be like, oh shit, yeah, okay, now I can get with this band. But I kind of feel like Japan is like heavy music and it's
going crazy.
You know what it is? When you play Japan, you're like, while you're playing, you look out, and the only thing that you feel is just like people seem like grateful, as if they've never seen this shit before this show, when actually they're going to every single show that they could be. It's literally, Japan is what England or like the UK thinks that it is. Like, they are all very polite. Things are about principles and like being a host and providing. And like things are very much about etiquette and everything like that. And that is what is so special about it.
Did you drink a lot of sake when you was out there?
Mate. You hear me just regurgitating as you're saying it. Mate, whiskey ain't the same. Like, that shit is crazy.
It's fucking strong, mate. I know, mate. Mark used to be in Crip, mate. He used to play guitar as well for Iron Out. Yeah. His partner's from Japan, and he fucking he bought back some sake one time as well, and I fucking liked it. But there's two different types.
Was it hot when you
I just tried the regular one, like just cold sake. But I heard the hot one is fucking like no joke.
The hot one. Oh my days. Yeah, the hot one's crazy. Yeah, the hot one really, it's how it goes down. Like, it's just so fucking hot. Yeah. It's like drinking tea, but it's like vodka. Like tea. It's just weird. Like, it just goes down like vodka, but you're just supposed to drink it like it's tea. It's weird.
I'll give that a go.
It's fucking good shit.
Steve said that with intent. Like, see, there's that video that you put up on your Instagram that time. You was outside like a temple or pagoda. You done some mad fucking karate skill and shit. That video was fucking real, man. I love that shit.
Yeah, I had to do it. We went to it was a big like public kind of park thing. And they had loads of bits. I thought
that was like the King's Palace or some shit.
It was,
like that.
It was. It was like a King's Palace, and like that was just one of the corners on this whole thing. They was doing it up at the time that we was there, though, so like it wasn't fully done. But yeah, mate, the place is fucking crazy. Before anyone dies, they have to go to Japan. Like it is seriously like you have never seen anything like it.
I'd like to go there.
That is definitely a place I'd like to visit.
I think when you play Europe, it's very much like England, I think. But when you go somewhere like Japan, it's just so different. The culture's so different. I just think it'd be something I'd love to do, man, and see. And
you got to do it, man. You got to do it.
Are you planning to go back there again, or?
I'd love to go back there again.
Yeah. There's been talks. And as soon as we can possibly do that, we're going to do it 100%. I would recommend any person listening to this, whether you're in a band or not, just go to Japan. Is
it your favourite place you've ever played then?
Easily.
Better than Unicorn.
You play the Unicorn in Japan.
I'll tell you what. It's a tiny bit better than the Unicorn. Only
Was there a place out there called the Japunicorn?
We only exclusively played places called Japunicorn.
It's a place with Uniqlo. You could play that out there, maybe.
That's terrible.
What can I fucking say, Liam? What can I say, mate? Yeah, actually, I've got a question for you, mate.
Yeah, mate.
How did you get your hair looking so nice? What's the secret behind your hair?
Shampoo, condition, mate. That's it.
Because Big Rich Ready Eye and old Proven drummer, and obviously 50 Calibre and so many other bands. He's asking. He wants to know how you get your hair looking so nice. Pantene, Timotei.
Whatever one, mate. Fucking whatever you like, mate. Just a fucking shampoo. Even the Head and Shoulders 2-in-1, mate. That's the best one.
They know all the secrets.
Like, man knows what he likes. Like. Fair enough, like. Fair enough. So, obviously, enough of the fucking hair talk and that. Like, that got a bit weird, didn't it? Like, whatever. What was your
just before you go on, seeing we're joking around, can we just say how much Joey looks like Brandon from 9 Bar?
Yes, I've heard this so many times. Like,
I swear, I'm talking to you now, and I feel like I'm talking to Brandon. Are you wearing Reeboks by any chance?
Strictly Air Force Ones, guys. Every time.
You guys are used to exactly the same, man.
And he's been blazing as old today, like, so it's literally the same fucking separated at birth at different times.
Respect to my brother, guys.
One sec.
He's doing it right.
Breaking news, the test results are in and Brandon is your dad.
Oh my God. I've been lied to my whole life.
That was a first for everyone but us, man. Jesus Christ. That is the mad one. But I was
Jeremy Kyle up here. Fucking hell. I weren't expecting this.
I'm joking.
But obviously, you was talking about Cold Hard Truth not so long ago in your Finland tour, but you recently toured with Enemy Minds and obviously Cold Hard Truth and BDO just on the UK dates. What was that tour like? How was that? Was it a good one or?
I'm not gonna lie. The London show is probably my favourite one.
Oh, respect, man.
All of it.
Respect.
The London show is my favourite one, mate. It's just fucking like, it was a Sunday as well. Everyone was fucking out there. Like, sold out, didn't it, as well? Fucking.
It did sell out, mate, yeah.
Yeah, fucking, yeah.
That was fucking special.
We had people who came from, like, we had a friend who came over from Bulgaria. We had a couple of bands who came over from Finland, like
Australia.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Like to know that people are fucking flown from other countries just for like not even a festival, a one-off fucking show.
Yeah,
I think I mean, fair play to. I mean, obviously it was a Ready Eye show, and but Richard was the one who got in touch with obviously speaking to Sam and obviously the rest of you guys organising the actual particular show. And then obviously with Ferg and then with John, we put it together. But we knew it was going to do well, but we didn't expect it to be as good as that for a Sunday, as you just said, like, because Sunday shows are like fucking like few and far between. So to know that it fucking sold out and like it legit definitely sold out, because remember, you saw how fucking packed the room was.
Hey, people were queuing up out the door.
That's a heavy build-up, man. Enemy Mine, Cold Hard Truth, Splitknuckle, Bun Them Out. That's a no-brainer, isn't it?
It was definitely a fucking one of them ones. I mean, there was still a little bit of a fucking, not a massive horseshoe, but there was obviously, it's that type of show, innit? Like when mans are dancing and shit, no one wants to get fucking hit. But it was a good vibe. There was no fights as far as I know. And it was everyone done really fucking good. And obviously Enemy Mine, their singers, he fucked his foot up at a previous show, innit? Like, so they got the dude who flew in. What was his name? Kevin
from the Merciless concept.
He's from New York though originally. Like he was fucking really cool.
Long Island.
Yeah. He was really safe, man. I chatted to him. Like I even chatted to the rest of them dudes, like the rest of them from Pittsburgh. They were really fucking safe dudes, like really cool. So what was the rest of the tour like? Was it good? Like obviously on the mainland and shit.
Yeah, it was quality. I think the worst one was fucking Geneva, because the sound guy was the venue owner, but this geezer was also fucked out of his face, yeah? I don't think he'd ever actually done any sound before. People were playing, instead of leaving it a second, he's literally not even looking at it, like leaning like this and just pushing like the controls like that.
Oh my days.
Guitar would drop out, a vocal would drop out, and like Enemy Mine would come on, and I've gone over and I'm like, mate, stop touching it now, stop touching it. It goes to touch it. I'm like, fucking stop touching it. And he's like, what? And I end up like just fucking switching on this geezer. Me and him arguing a bit. And I didn't help the situation because Sam Ellis Thompson from Cold Hard Truth he's a big geezer. He just blocked off the fucking sound disc. The geezer's trying to jump over to and then he moves like the way he squares up with Sam, and then he squares up to me. He goes to give me a little like slap on the cheek, and my arms just instantly extended out, pushed him. There's a little step where the sound.
Oh shit!
He just flew into the sound and it's all hit in the floor and cut out all the sound. I was like, mate, my time to leave now.
All at the same time, there's actually a band playing on stage that has just realised that all of the front fucking PA has just gone out. And this is like, after telling the sound man, like so many times, like, no more smoke, no more strobe lights. Please keep the vocals in the monitors, like all of this shit. And they're just fucking losing it.
Last orders are at a bar near you right now. But they've also just put out a split with Postal on Ruction Records. Find it at ruction.com and all your usual streaming sites. Well, go on.
But like, yeah, obviously we're coming to the end of the interview now. It's been fucking great. We've got a couple of questions in that before I get into them. But I just wanted to quickly ask you guys, like, what's the future at Splitknuckle? What have you guys got plans? Have you got any more releases in the pipeline, or are you planning to tour? Or you got any other new music or any other projects that you might be doing as well? Let us know.
The Unicorn.
I want to be playing the Unicorn. I swear to God, shut down and we ain't played it since. So, yeah, kind of pissing me off that no one's asked if we could play that. But yeah, besides that, me and Liam in like a softer, like really like kind of softer band with Christy, the guitarist from Splitknuckle, where Christy is doing vocals. We're doing that. Liam does a lot of beats.
There's a release supposed to be planned for the end of this month, but obviously with all this shit going on, no one can record and shit like that for Splitknuckle. But I'll leave that as a bit of a surprise. But
where are you recording that?
Monolith.
Monolith,
Yeah,
Charlie.
I'm not too sure yet. I think we probably will go back there and do it. Yeah. I'd like to go back there and do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done that single there. Yeah. I'd like to do it there, but obviously at the moment, recording's not going to fucking
everything's up in the air at the moment, isn't it? Like,
we're trying to do a little bit of like demoing, sending some riffs back and forth, this, that, or the other. But besides that, if we take 2 years to do a single release, which is historically what has happened with us, if you pair that with what's currently going on, look, come on, it's going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be a little while before we do anything else. but you know, that's what we're dealing with.
I've got a question for you then. Like, where do you see Splitknuckle in 5 to 10 years? Where would you like Splitknuckle to be?
It's a hard question, you know, because I've never kind of really seen it as like that kind of, where do I see ourselves? I've always just thought as it of like just writing, playing shows and just having a fucking laugh with everyone, really. I've never kind of really like put plans in place, you know what I mean? This is where we need to get to and shit like that. But I don't know if it's different for you, Joe, but
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the same. I think that's the thing with Splitknuckle is, and like for anyone who's in the band, I think the best thing about it has been is we used to just honestly meet up every Monday and Wednesday and have practices. And I say practices with quotation marks because we used to get there, smoke a little bit, drink a little bit or whatever, and then do maybe an hour at most of practicing. And you know,
that's like every Ruction band, like.
Yeah, so but that's what we've historically done, and that's what we've always only really thought about, unless it's like, oh, we've got this show at the weekend. Like, what are we going to do to try and perhaps prepare for it? You know, more often than not, we actually don't end up having a practice before said show at the weekend or whatever. But it is what it is. But I think speaking almost on behalf of the whole band, I think recently in the last maybe half a year or so, before and since we've released that single, I think we realised that we kind of could take it a little bit more seriously. And I say that in quotation marks because, like, you know, it's basically just ticking boxes that other bands, you know, do by default, but we just never have because we just aren't concerned overly with trying to get anywhere with it. But I think we've realised if we started ticking maybe a few more boxes, we could do something with it, maybe bring people into this genre a little bit more. I want to try and get to an age where I'm at the age where people who influence me are at. Do you know what I mean? I want to do the same shit for someone else that someone did for me.
I mean, when you look at bands like Malevolence that have really pushed up, like the really pushed on, doing amazing things, is that where you'd like to see yourself, or you're not really? You're just doing it more for the fun of it, or go on.
I don't know. Through experience, the thing that has brought us most enjoyment is not trying too hard and leaving things just purely organic.
Respect. Yeah.
But the thing that I think with that is, if it was received the same way as someone like perhaps Malevolence, then we probably would do something almost similar. Maybe not as well. Fucking hell, like they're on the ball, like, and we're terribly unorganized. But maybe we could see, like, what they've done is basically they've touched like a real mainstream kind of metal audience, and they've brought a lot of kids into this thing. And hopefully with a lot of them, they will just be able to experience the same things that we've experienced, and the same kind of buzz of seeing this shit for the first time and just falling in love with it.
Right, so we've got a couple of questions to ask. I'm not going to ask all of them because obviously it's getting a bit late and shit.
Yeah.
Probably want to go out and smoke and shit, don't you, Joey? You probably clap me for another two, didn't you?
A little bit.
All right, let me. I've got it down here. All right, Tom Barry wants to know in the band, who are the celeb lookalikes? So obviously we know who Joey looks like. Joey looks like fucking Brandon from 9 Bar. Who does Christy look like? Who does Liam look like? And of course, Larry and Matt. Who does everyone look like?
Who was it? It was Tim. Tim Louth on fucking tour said, Christy, he got a photo up on his phone. He's like, just look. We're both standing there watching. He gets his phone up. Picture of fucking Rowan Atkinson. He's like, yes, bang on.
What, for Christy? For Christy? Oh my god!
That's it.
Check it out, honestly.
he does. I can see the little resemblance, like
Rowan
a little
Atkinson, mate. Fucking hell, I bet Christy was upset by that. That's so deep.
Alright, so Joey, who does Liam look like, do you reckon?
Who was Tom saying that he looked like? Was he saying that he looked like Leonardo DiCaprio?
He doesn't.
Oh, fuck off. The last one I had was in a Vietnamese restaurant, and the bloke serving, he steps up and taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "You know what, mate? You look like Anton Griezmann. That's the one." I was like, fuck off, I do.
That is an insult to both of them two.
I don't know who Matt looks like. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know, man.
Matt just looks like Matt.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, Matt is completely one. Yeah, he's just his own geezer. Like I can't even think of who he looks like. I can't even think.
Larry just looks like a James Bond villain, mate.
Larry just looks like a fucking 4x2 plank of wood, mate. Straight up. Larry, if you're listening to this, guys, you're straight plank, mate. Fucking hell.
I've got a question from Sam Ellis Thompson, and it's for both of you, and it's, what's the best custard you've ever had?
Best custard. I ain't gonna lie.
Ambrosia.
Yeah, that's it for me as well. I ain't gonna lie.
Here's a bit of a more serious one from Connor Niche Stone up in the northeast. He wants to know what UK bands have recently caught your attention and any ones we should be looking out for.
I mean, Revulsion just dropped some mad shit, but they ain't exactly new.
Of course, but I mean, they got a new shit out though,
But if anyone ain't heard Revulsion, check out Revulsion. They're legit, and they've been going pretty much, I think, as long as us, maybe even longer. I'm not entirely sure. And they are certified. Just dropped some fucking good shit. Last Wishes, really good band.
Good band.
Cauldron, really good band. Christie's just joined Raiden.
Oh wow!
So yeah, he's playing guitar for him now. So that is perhaps, hopefully, I fucking really hope, a new chapter for Raiden. So I'm.
He didn't even get a look in Liam. Did they ask Liam or not? Didn't even give him. He didn't even get a troll like.
Actually, yeah.
Isn't it, man?
Yeah, they actually did. They legit. It was between the two of them. It honestly was.
That's fucking fair play to you.
Yeah.
Like, respect, man. That's real.
Us Essex geezers, we've got to stick together and keep things fair,
that's real, man. I mean? Hearing that, that's cool. I'll take that back there, Liam. I'll take that back.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Another one. I asked you both earlier on, so you had a bit of time to think of it, so you wasn't on the spot. Your top 5 UK hardcore bands.
Right, is this just ever? Have they still got to be a band?
They can be done now. It doesn't have to be a band.
Right, I'm going to go... I'm not going to lie, who we was saying about earlier, Never Again. I really fucking like that band. There was a bit more of like a hardcore punk band, but just like raw, aggressive sound. Like just...
It's UK hardcore, mate. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, fucking... I've got to go bun them out. I love bun them out. Yeah, it's got to be special move. Just because every release I've ever listened to, there's just fucking next level. I'm gutted I never got to see them, but fucking their music is just next level. Do you know what I'm gonna go with as well? Because fucking I only see once, and I think Steve, you was fucking playing BDF. at fucking I only saw you at Ninja Fest. And it was just
that was like 5. No, it's like 7 years ago now, isn't it?
So about
2013.
I remember playing Southend with. What was that show in Southend with BDF? It was you have to go like down some stairs.
Minerva.
Oh
no,
Minerva. That's it. Is that on the corner?
Or is it Sax? That's Sax Underground. It's Sax Underground. I swear to God.
I don't remember.
I know that one. Yeah. Opposite the train station.
Smacking the ceiling.
I remember the ceiling was really low.
Yeah. That's
was that with BDF?
You can't dance in there, man, because you smash your hand on the ceiling.
Yeah, man. The first show I ever played was there. That was it.
I think that was when I was in Calibre, Weimar. I don't think BDF.
No, it was BDF because I remember Pierre and Pete, they had these boiler suits on. Dress up every now and again.
That was like point down at Essex Fest. They was all wearing like pink luminous like attire. Like what was his name? Who was the who was the other BDF guitarist?
Andy.
Andy.
Yeah. He was playing. He was playing in Point Down at the time, and he had them fluffy like.
The Reeboks, the rabbit Adidas.
You know the ones? Yeah. Mate, he had
was he wearing his Kelly Clarkson t-shirt as well, like, or just the pink top?
I've seen that t-shirt.
You know what? I feel like was he? Or was
he's
he
just
wearing I don't know.
He's just walking around like a unit, and he's got this fucking Kelly Clarkson t-shirt.
Respect, honestly. Yeah. Point Down.
Big guitarist, man.
And then Point Down. They played a cover of "Pulling Punches" by Special Move, and it was crazy.
Oh, nice.
It was fucking crazy because that is a mad tune. But,
so Liam, what was your last band on your last 5?
I'm gonna say it, fucking Raider, mate, just because they're the heaviest fucking. I think probably the heaviest band I've ever seen, mate. It's just, and they're still fucking having it as well when they play. They fucking go for it. It's just the darkest, fucking evilest shit ever. I just love it, man.
I can tell you from experience that standing in a rehearsal room next to the PA when Baz is screaming down it is not a good idea. It's painful.
Man,
it's painful.
That geezer is certified. I've always said if I could
He's one of the best vocalists.
Yeah, legit. If you think about that, geezer sounds the exact same as when I first heard him. And when I first heard him, I was listening to like early 2000s recordings of this geezer, and he still sounds the exact same. Like as someone, like speaking from personal experience, in the last since 2012. My voice has changed so many fucking times, and this geezer just sounds the exact fucking same, if not better. Like he just does it.
You said his balls ain't dropped yet.
What is happening?
I'm joking.
But that geezer is channeling some inner Satan or some shit like that. He's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Joey, what? Yeah, big him up, man. Big up fucking all them Essex bands. But yeah, Joey, what about your top 5 bands, mate?
My top 5 is Knuckle Dust 9 Bar, Raiden, 50 Caliber, and it has to be Special Move if we're talking about bands that ain't about still nowadays. That will not change. I can't imagine that top 5 changing at all, to be honest, because out of 4 out of 5 is just bands that are still going. So like anyone who sees these bands now is just blessed to be seeing them. That's how I think of it. And Special Move just has to be added on there because they have influenced me probably maybe the most out of any hardcore band, but I just had to put them on the list because they're not current, but yeah, legit.
It's a good list, mate.
That's good.
That's a fucking.
I've got a feeling that we can get Special Move back, man. If we all badger them enough,
I don't think
one show, I reckon they'll do it.
Scott ain't gonna do it.
Scott, if you're listening, you don't know me, mate, but sort it out, mate. Sort it out.
And that's the last question I was going to ask you guys, for both of you.
Yeah.
Who would you pick, Raiden or Special Move? But I think you answered that earlier on.
That's unfair. That's an unfair question.
That's a horrible question, mate.
That's a question from Craw. That's a question from Craw.
Yeah, man. I feel like
Craw, that's out of line, mate.
Yeah, do you know what? Craw has asked that because he knows that is just the question. Like the question that you cannot answer. That's like saying like
Coke or
UK
Pepsi?
hardcore number one, Knuckle Dust or Namba. You can't really answer that fairly. I don't know. Like out of bias, you could. Yeah, I
ain't mad at that at all, man.
I don't know. No, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know.
I'm joking. I'm fucking around.
I'm fully neck and neck, both of them, like genuinely. So to me, for an Essex version of that,
because you're biased because your dad's in 9 Bar.
Well, I'm trying not to give up that I'm being biased towards 9 Bar, and I'm just saying both, innit? But yeah. I got to sign my dad is number.
That is fucking...
But yeah, no. In terms of Essex version, yeah. Especially with Raiden. That's terrible. You can't... Cruel.
And just quickly, top 5 Larry Stats quotes.
Let me get up my notes on my phone. I got quotes. Hang on. Larry.
Yeah, I'll leave these to Joe, mate.
I've got some. Hang on. Right, Sarah, if you're listening, yeah, this is like Larry ain't, yeah, right. Right, so on the 14th of February, Larry said, when I fall asleep good. My girlfriend gets jealous, right? Then also on the 14th of February, he said, one time my stepdad siphoned off diesel and had at least 2 gulps of diesel. His mouth smelt of diesel for 2 weeks. I'd slap up a big sleep. He says, right, hang on. I've got more.
I've got one I can remember.
Right, go on.
I'm low-key a terrifying genius.
Yeah, he said that. The thing is with Larry, yeah, Larry's one of these people who, honestly, like, he's very intellectually clever. Like, he's a pharmacist. But if you know him, you'll soon see that being a pharmacist does not actually mean that you are very, like, common sense clever. Like, Larry is a fucking plank of wood half the time. I'm not going to lie, Larry. Sorry if you're listening, mate. But yeah, I love you guys, but you're...
I feel that, though. Honestly. He lived in Beckton. He grew up in Beckton.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, moved to Grace, isn't it? Yeah.
He grew up not far from me, like,
he's honestly, he's a bit...
I get it.
Bless him.
I get it, mate. Beckton people are like that. Ain't that right, Wemmer?
You're right.
When you get these scientific type people as well, like where I work in pharmaceutical manufacturing, right? And I always kind of get the feeling that some of the people from the R&D department who create all these drugs and things like that, like they struggle to make a cup of tea.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Of course. We're going to wrap it up now, mate. It's been a fucking pleasure, mate. So anyway, you two, any shout-outs, mentions to anyone?
Oh, just fucking everyone. There's so many fucking names, isn't there? Just big up all the SKC lot. Yeah, all the SKC lot, all UYC lot, all you lot, LBU lot, fucking all the London buds, all the fucking Glasgow buds, the Finnish buds, the fucking, just every cunt, mate.
Yeah, too many names. But basically, anyone who just understands where we're coming from, and likes our shit and just understands what we're about and just thinks the kind of similar kind of way, big up yourself, basically. Big ups to SKC, EBD, LVU, GHC. Just anyone who just...
ABC.
This shit.
DFS.
Yeah. All acronyms that you could possibly fucking put together. It already exists in the world. But yeah, just anyone who likes our shit, it's actually real. It's actually real. And we try and keep it that way.
Yeah, man. I'd just like to say this has been a pleasure for me because a lot of the people that we've had on this podcast have been people from the 90s. And it's great to have what I would consider one of the new generation, the band that's taking this shit forward, come on. And
it's true, mate.
I've enjoyed listening to your story, man. You're all talented guys and just continue doing what you're doing and enjoying it.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's honestly an honour to be able to come on here, and thanks for inviting us on.
Cool. So I just want to quickly say as well, like, all jokes aside and all that stuff, I think I met Liam before I met you, Joey. Like, it was at a Unicorn. And I remember, like, Liam was a bit half cut, and he just come up to me, and I was like, "Who's this?" Like, you know when someone talks, you know when someone talks to you, like, and you don't know them, but you feel like you've known them like since forever, because they're just they're just genuinely being nice and just having a proper conversation, like. And then I didn't see him again for like maybe a good couple of months, like. And then he came back to another show, and I was like, "Oh shit, I remember I spoke to this geezer." Like, then since then we've like just been friends. We always kick it, always have a good laugh with each other, always talk about fucking Essex and the area and growing up and things like that. So like, it's a real pleasure. Like, obviously you guys are a little bit younger than us, but like, as you said, you get it, you understand it, like, and that's only a good thing, and I fucking respect you guys a lot, man. So thank you for being who you are. Like, you're not trying to be anyone else, you're only trying to be yourself, and that's what I love about you lot. Sorry. So,
appreciate it, man.
Mate, appreciate that a lot, man. Fucking big up yourself, dude.
All of your era wrote the blueprints to this shit. We're just following it. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
This has been the Everyone But Us podcast. What episode number is this, Steve? Episode 20, yeah, or 21?
21.
Episode 21.
20. It's 20.
It is 20.
It's episode 20, yeah. Episode 20, man. This is like the second one of like the fucking lockdown period. Not sure when we're going to be coming out of this, but we wish everyone at home all the best. Stay safe. Don't do anything silly. And hopefully we can be back in the studio and get people to come in and do some interviews. But over the next few weeks, we're definitely going to be sitting down with some other people and be doing some other stuff. So expect to be hearing some new stuff in the very near future. All right. So once again, I'm Lewis.
I'm Waymar.
I'm Sugar White.
And that was Splitknuckle. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Big up yourself. Loads of love.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight